There's some real money in the room.
How did that relationship come about?
What relationship?
With Nussie.
Well, Nussie was one of the ones that was incorporated in me in the environment when I first came from Detroit, like in Big D. Nussie family lived in Big D. And that's where half of my family lived, and that's where I lived, and that's where some of the people took me in lived.
What is Big D?
It's tore down now, but it was like a little small building that was owned by some mob people that was in Baton Rouge called the Vincent Brothers. And they had a little building, and they had like 4 small apartments in the front and like 10, 11, 12 on the side. And it was like in the space of one house. But they had all these apartments, so it had a lot of like violence and drugs and shooting and killing and stabbing, but it was really like the trenches. Like when people say the trenches, Big D was the trenches. Because the projects was around the corner and they ain't had shit on Big D. So Big D was the trenches. So in the process of the trenches, Nussie had people lived in the trenches. So he was in the trenches too. And we came up. Like his cousin Michael Wayne was like his close cousin, and Michael Wayne was one of my close friends. So is one of my close friends. So, Nussie was like around us coming up. Like all these people knew each other. Like this is street shit here. This is before the music at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I had a relationship with Nussie before the music, like from 8, 9 years old. Well, 9, 10 years old.
Right. So, Nussie mentioned, I went back and watched some of his older interviews, that his issue with Boosie originally was he felt like he wasn't letting people in the game when he got in the game. But from your story, what you tell me is like he brought you in as he was getting in. Did you feel the same way as far as, or do you feel rather that Boosie could have done more to help other Baton Rouge artists?
I feel like Boosie wasn't put in a position to be that type of person. He was put in the position by people like that. Like everybody ain't a helper. You feel what I'm saying? Some people are motivators, innovators, you know what I'm saying? Role models, leaders, but they're not helpers. You know what I'm saying? They if they can't motivate you, if they can't give you a spark, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody ain't meant to hold hands. Some people is so star, like if you look at it, like Boosie like helped the whole culture. Not only, I just want to say he helped enough people to help other people. And he helped more people than you think, because in some form he helped Nussie, because he was the target for Nussie's campaign, which became a successful campaign. And when people become successful, they learn to appreciate each other. So that was just an unfortunate situation where people just didn't become successful and couldn't just laugh about it down the line. But that's how they do it in New York and all those other big cities. They just laugh about it down the line and say, well, we made it, like 50 Cent and Ja Rule and Nas and Jay-Z and all them, all of them still around. And they still just laugh at the diss records and all that and say, we made it, we all got money. So, you know, that's the goal. Just be the people around you, you know, let things like that happen, you know? So, gotta be careful.
Do you think he went too far when he started calling himself Nussie Badass and replaced his picture with Boosie's picture on the album cover? Or was that permissible because it was some rap shit and he trying to get on?
I would say it was just working. Like one thing led to the next. It wasn't never personal. It was strategy. It was a wise person trying to take they wiseness and turn into a lane of music. Like, you know, if you been jacking niggas, cause I can't say that he was really jacking niggas, you know. He was really, you know, going with his mood. He was really, you know, doing shit and rubbing it in niggas' face. Like, he was really doing that. Now, was he aiming it in the South direction? No, because deep down he was from the South. So, you know, a lot of things that Nussie did was aimed in the other direction, not the South. But I guess when the music came and he saw that he can, like Tupac. Tupac was really from New York.
Right.
But he said, okay, if I can go to another side and go hard enough and diss this side enough, then I might bubble. Just because I'm the, you know, the bad guy. And just it was the same formula. That's all, you know, how I see what Nussie did. He just, okay, cool. I'm gonna go over there in Easy Town and I'm gonna build that. And in the same time while I'm building that, I'm gonna have them support me with this music thing. And that's how it went.
Yeah, from my perspective, it almost looked like what he was doing worked. Like he was kicking down the dope. You know what I mean? And when he gets killed, it's like another rapper who could have been something for the city. How did the city of Baton Rouge take his death?
The city, you know, they took it kind of hard. You know, well, you know, they had a lot of people that liked them and loved them, and then they had the ones that felt like that he had it coming to him because of he was rapping about shit he was doing like in the game. And it ain't had, like I say, it ain't had nothing to do with the South or what was going on in the South. He had a lot of shit going on just in the streets in general. So, you know, nigga was feeling like, you know, that something like that would happen anyway because he wasn't ducking that. Like, you know, some of them just, oh, well, you know. Yeah. And that's the kind of like how it was. Like once I saw it working for him, you know, because he used to try to keep me in it. Like he was, because he knew my story, you know, so he used to try to say, stay in it, you know. You a part of it now, stay in it. And I'm like, I don't believe it because I ain't getting nothing out of it. So, you know, but so he was like, well, okay, I'll help you. You know, you can write some songs for me and I'll pay you. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let's do it. But in the process of us doing that, he's still making songs and he's saying certain things that I'm not cool with him saying. And I'm like, you know, bro, I asked you not to do that. And, you know, he gave me that look like, you know, like, bro, like, you know, my bad, but this what I'm doing, you know, this working. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it alone.
What did he say that had you, where you drew the line?
Well, he knew how close that my relationship was with Ivory, because like I say, he was right there with us. Coming up, Nussie was right there on 15. We was on 16. He right there on 15, and so he knew how close we was. And I don't know, you know, about what all took place, how they fell out or nothing, because I was always my own man doing my own thing. But I just knew that by me being in hands-on with a lot of the stuff that went on in the area, I knew that personally that he didn't have anything to do with that. But when you listen at his music, he was leaving it questionable. And I was like, you know, I felt like that you know, like I felt like that you don't have to do that. You know, you can leave that alone, because we gonna honor each other. You know? Like they should have people doing documentaries honoring him, the people he helped or whatever, but I don't know. You know? But it's unfortunate, bro, you know? Because like I said, I knew all these dudes, but I came from Detroit. You know, at any time they wanted to just say, oh, you from Detroit, they could have, you know? So, but you know, it was just Southside. They knew I was hard-headed from the gate. Like I said, I was the leader of the wrong crowd from the gate. So, that's how that went.
Hey, RealToon, it's some real money in the room.